from Midland, Odessa, and Big Spring, this is ABC Big 2 News at 11:30.
This morning, you're taking a live look outside at downtown Midland on this Earth Day, where conditions here in the basin are looking pretty hazy and overcast. Well, good morning, everyone. I'm Matt Fonts.
I'm Ryan DePhillips.
Ryan, happy Friday. We have made it, finally.
Happy Friday, happy Earth Day.
Yes, and Earth Day as well. We've got a lot of weather, though, today to watch out for here in the basin.
Well, absolutely. As you did see that camera cam, those winds whipping, those clouds are cloudy, and those skies are cloudy. And we're going to be seeing the potential for some storms to pop up today. And yes, strong winds and fire potential even as well. A fire weather warning in effect till 10 p.m. local time anywhere west of the Pecos River, and a wind advisory in effect till 4 a.m. local time. That does include Midland and Odessa. But the strongest of winds, as naturally where they would be, will be in the highest of elevations in the Guadalupe Mountains, where there's a high wind warning in fact till 3 a.m. local time. Winds gusting more than 70 miles per hour there. Temperatures warming up today after starting off near 69 degrees this morning, warming up to 87 degrees. A slight chance of afternoon to evening thunderstorms. So again, that's something that we got to watch out for today. Strong to severe thunderstorms. We are your local weather authority. We will let you know if any storms do become severe. However, the Storm Prediction Center has issued only a marginal to slight risk of severe weather, which is a low risk. Still, numerous strong to severe thunderstorms are not out of the question, and I'll be tracking even more storms possibly for tomorrow. Back to you guys.
All right, thank you, Ryan. This morning, we have an update to a major fire that was burning in Big Bend. It has now been put out. The fire started at the southern edge of the southwest rim of the Chisos Mountains. Parts of the park were closed off to be sure that hikers remain safe. The fire has burned 30 acres, and the cause of it is still unknown.
Developing now on ABC Big 2 News.
Well, now to the fire emergency in the southwest. Conditions being described as extreme and critical, with heavy winds expected today. And now new reports are warning about the historic drought and record air pollution levels. ABC's Dion Lim has the details.
It was chaos to just get in the car and leave as fast as you can.
This morning, at least a dozen large fires are burning across 3 states, forcing evacuations and destroying homes.
I was crying very hard. I was sitting in Safeway parking lot, just watching the flames bellow over the top of my roof.
Near Flagstaff, Arizona, the so-called tunnel fire exploding to more than 20,000 acres. Dozens of buildings reduced to ashes as the fast-moving fire burns out of control.
I looked out the back window and I saw the flames kind of rolling through our property and our back deck.
This family escaping their home just minutes before it was engulfed by flames.
I was in the car driving away and I saw, the house burning.
Firefighters working round the clock to stop the spread, but erratic winds and tinderbox conditions are fanning the flames.
The environment is not very friendly. It was blowing 70 miles an hour. Rocks were hitting everybody in the face.
And now, red flag warnings are in effect from Texas to Nevada and reaching as far north as Nebraska. The historic drought in the west is further threatening the firefight. A new report showing record low rainfall totals in California. Experts already voicing concern about the upcoming fire season.
Yeah, we're almost at the point of begging the public, do not start fires. They are getting out of control very quickly, and we're resource depleted.
In Colorado, investigators say a drone is to blame for this blaze. Researchers were studying severe weather impacts when the drone crashed and sparked the grass fire. Experts say climate change is to blame for the droughts, and they say more wildfires are adding to record levels of air pollution. Dion Lim, ABC News, New York.
Also developing this morning, a small plane crashed in Covington, Georgia last night. Police say the crash took place Thursday evening. It sent huge plumes of smoke into the air after the plane reportedly exploded on impact. Police have not identified any of the passengers and are still unsure how many people were on board.
According to witnesses, they believe the plane was having trouble gaining altitude. They could hear that there was engine trouble. Suddenly the plane veered to the right and immediately came straight down and crashed into the lot behind us.
The cause of the crash is being investigated by both the FAA and NTSB. Well, over in Florida, the House of Representatives voted to take away Disney's self-government status. It was the last step before the measure heads to Governor Ron DeSantis' desk. Disney's special status was signed into law in 1967 and allows the company to act as a local government. DeSantis and Disney have been at odds since the company said it opposed the governor's so-called Don't Say Gay bill. And victims of Larry Nassar, the former doctor of the U.S. women's national gymnastics team, are now suing the FBI. Attorneys for the survivors are filing 13 separate claims and are using the Federal Tort Claims Act that allows people to be compensated for injury or loss caused by government negligence or wrongdoing. The group says that when the sexual assault claims were brought to the attention of the FBI, nothing was done.
There were reports. And to know that they had those sitting at their desk and they refused to or didn't act and just left us at the disposal of a predator is so frustrating for me.
You would think that when it comes to the FBI, that there would be something more than shoveling it in a desk and going out and looking out for your own best interest. You know, we always say serve and protect, right? The only thing that happened here was they tried to service their own self-interest.
Now, after a federal investigation concluded last September on Capitol Hill, senators called the FBI's involvement an epic failure. Well, in Kentucky this morning, an abortion ban has been blocked by a federal judge. A pro-choice group met with strong opposition, protested outside Metro Hall in Louisville as they voiced concern over House Bill 3, which would effectively ban an abortion after 15 weeks in most cases.
Women were told that their lives, their plans, their hopes for their future didn't count for anything. They were going to be forced to have children against their will, whether they wanted to or not.
Many of those protesters say they're relieved, but know it will continue to be an uphill battle. Well, one clothing retailer says it will take a stand against higher prices this fall. Old Navy says it wants to help parents out when kids start back to school. The retail chain is not going to raise clothing prices on some select items. The new strategy is called Price on Lock, which will fix prices on all boys and girls apparel items that are labeled Everyday Magic. The new price locking initiative will remain through the end of September. And a baby care product is being recalled for contamination. Baby Ganix is recalling 2 lots of its 20-ounce size Baby Ganix Chamomile Verbena bubble bath. The recall comes after testing showed the presence of a bacteria. Lot codes Y314 and Y315 can be found at the bottom of the packaging. While the bacteria type does not cause illness, it can pose an infection risk for immune-compromised children. The products were sold in the last 2 months at select U.S. stores. Well, new this morning, it's Earth Day, and many organizations in the basin are celebrating the holiday in a big way. ABC Big 2's Tatiana Battle joins us live in studio. And Tatiana, you have more details on how these local organizations plan to ring in the day.
Yeah, good morning, Matt. Earth Day is recognized on an international level, and people I spoke to say that here in the basin, it's a day to remind one another of ways to keep our planet clean. Now, research shows that nearly 1 billion people across the globe celebrate Earth Day, and here in the basin, organizations like Keep Midland Beautiful, Keep Odessa Beautiful, and the West Texas Food Bank have found creative ways to keep our community clean. Now, we spoke to Craig Stoker at West Texas Food Bank, who says that he's excited to have the community take part in one of its largest events in honor of Earth Day.
We are excited to bring Earth Day back to Midland in partnership with Keep Midland Beautiful, and to be able to show off our new innovative gardens, which were sponsored by XTO Energy. The party will kick off Saturday at 10 a.m.
That's right. The West Texas Food Bank will be inviting the community out to its big Earth Day celebration from 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. this Saturday. The event will also have a 100-tree giveaway and more than 10 organizations for the community to learn what it takes to keep our area clean. Reporting live in studio, Tatiana Battle, ABC Big 2 News.
Some great events there. Thank you, Tatiana. Now, across the globe this morning, we have a special look at America's majestic and fragile forests. President Biden is expected to sign an executive order today to protect these critical natural spaces. ABC's Kana Whitworth has more.
Earth's 3 trillion trees can be considered the planet's lungs, taking in carbon dioxide and breathing out the oxygen we need to live. Along with other vegetation, trees capture about a third of our annual global fossil fuel emissions, a key defense in our warming world. But since the 1900s, Earth has lost almost 2.5 billion acres of forest. That's roughly the size of the United States. The result of disease, logging, and extreme conditions caused by climate change. Saving our forests is the subject of National Geographic magazine's May issue. In the Carolinas, some areas that were once lush cypress groves are now what scientists call ghost forests, all dead due to encroaching salt, in part from rising sea levels.
It's risen over 11 inches since 1950 in North Carolina, so this is not something that's going to happen in the future, it's something that has already happened.
And in California, wildfire threatens our giant sequoias, trees that can live more than 3,000 years, now burning in record numbers.
It took 2 years to destroy 19% of these trees, and these things have been around since the birth of Jesus, Julius Caesar.
This one ignited by a wind-blown ember last year.
It took creative intervention to put out the fire. Firefighters climbing up hundreds of feet to where I'm at now with hoses. And without that intervention, this tree would have continued to burn for months. And from this high up, the wind can cast embers for miles, threatening the entire Sequoia National Forest.
Clip it to yourself.
Showing me the ropes.
So I start by pulling my feet up.
Forest canopy scientist Anthony Ambrose.
So we've had to climb about 75, 80 feet in the air before we reached a limb. And that's one of the ways that these trees are so protected from fire, right? Because the ground fire isn't going to torch their limb.
Yeah, exactly. It's really hard to get through this really thick bark, so the trees generally aren't harmed at all.
So when you're seeing a sequoia on fire, that means we're dealing with more intense, hotter, more frequent fires.
Yeah, that's exactly correct. We weren't very concerned about climate change hitting the sequoias maybe even just 10 years ago, but now we're starting to get a little bit more alarmed.
Over in Syracuse, New York, William Powell's team is using genetic engineering to bring a disease-ravaged species back from functional extinction, the American chestnut.
With modern techniques and biotechnology, we've actually discovered a way to make the tree tolerant of this blight that has wiped it out.
Once planted, it will be a century before they thrive, but Powell believes this blueprint can help save the future of our forests.
For example, the cypress, you could develop lines that are more salt tolerant. Theoretically, you could also make trees more fire tolerant by just changing a few genes in the tree.
Each tree still standing, adapting to a changing planet.
What an amazing story there. Well, coming up on ABC Big 2 News at 11:30, we've got your full rundown of all the entertainment buzz at the box office and at home that you can look forward to ahead of this weekend.
And not only do we have to watch out for fire weather, but also severe thunderstorms. The Storm Prediction Center has issued a marginal to slight risk of severe weather anywhere east of the Pecos River. And taking a quick look at that, we do notice that, again, it's mostly in the eastern part of our viewing area. And I'll be tracking a couple rounds of storms this weekend for drier and much cooler conditions by early next week.
Weekdays at 5, 6, and 10 p.m. with Chief Meteorologist Chase Menendez.
You can get your smile back today. At Affordable Dentures and Implants, we make high-quality tooth replacement affordable for everyone. So whether it's a single tooth, full dentures, or life-changing dental implants, we have an experienced dentist who can help you go ahead and smile. Click or call to schedule your new smile consultation today.
Go ahead and smile.
Spokesperson for Robert White.
You get in a car wreck and you're hurt. What does it cost to hire attorney Robert White?
Absolutely nothing.
Nothing?
Nothing.
It costs you absolutely nothing up front to hire me. I don't get paid unless you get paid. It's just that easy.
Join us at Johnny Carino's for our 5 for $15 ribeye steak and lobster ravioli meal deal. Enjoy our Italian nachos appetizer, juicy char-grilled ribeye steak, savory lobster ravioli, choice of your favorite sauce, a refreshing beverage, and our fresh baked bread, all for only $15. Plus, join us for half-price family platters every Monday after 4 p.m. Choose from a variety of our signature Italian dishes served family style, such as our classic hand-breaded chicken parmesan. Hurry in for dine-in or take-home at Johnny Carino's.
For 50 years, you've been our friends and family. So for 4 days, I've set the lowest prices on the largest in-stock selection of mattresses and furniture. You'll have a chance to spin and win all of your furniture free. You could even win your entire purchase free. Now remember this, for the first 100 of you through the doors on Saturday, I'm going to give you a special gift valued at $100 from me. Friends and family, 4 days only at Bob Mills.
Ring in the new year with Music City Mall. Put those gift cards and Christmas checks to work at more than 100 merchants. You'll find something for everyone. Beautiful Kendra Scott jewelry inside Dillard's. Fashion for every occasion. Shoes galore. Enjoy delicious food inside our food court. Or skate the all-new Rink and Roll roller rink open daily. Round out your visit with a trip to Sephora at JCPenney. Music City Mall, where you have it all. JBS and 42nd Street, Odessa.
Style. I got it from my mom. I got it from mine.
And I got it from mine. And they all got it from me.
It's Macy's Friends and Family with an extra 30% off the perfect gifts for mom. Now at Macy's.
And now your local weather authority forecast.
Those winds are picking up across the basin with mostly cloudy skies throughout the day today. Partly to mostly cloudy right now here in the Tall City. Temperatures warming up in the 80s today and drier conditions in the western basin where they could be seeing fire weather. But here in Midland and Odessa, we could be seeing a slight chance of thunderstorms later today. Now, take a look at the satellite and radar. We do notice that over the past few hours, low-level clouds were on the increase and really starting to brighten up as the day progresses. And we do notice that we have this disturbance moving off into the basin. And when these clouds come together, that's what we could be seeing is thunderstorms later today, as the Storm Prediction Center has issued a marginal to slight risk of severe weather. I do think the best chance of storms will be just off to our north and also in places like Sanderson, Fort Stockton, Big Lake, where they did have some storms yesterday, and over the past couple of days we could be seeing some more today there, and that's certainly some good news because we need that rainfall. And the latest update within the drought monitor, exceptional drought in the Midland and Odessa area and Brewster County. So some of those areas where we're seeing the worst drought, we could be seeing storms today, as it started off right around 70 degrees this morning, warming up near 80 degrees within the next hour. Mid to upper 80s by the afternoon commute, even getting fairly close to the 90-degree mark, but very humid, very windy, and yes, our best chance of storms later this afternoon and into the evening hours. Again, we are your local weather authority. We will let you know if any storms do become severe, and the relative humidity really shows where the moisture is, and we're seeing that in the eastern basin. So I think that is where we're going to be seeing the storms. But in places where it's drier in the western basin, they're going to be seeing potentially some fire weather. A fire weather warning in effect till 10 p.m. local time in places west of the Pecos River. Anywhere east of the Pecos River, we're seeing, again, the strong winds. Midland, Odessa, winds gusting more than 40 miles per hour, where there's a wind advisory in effect till 4 a.m. tonight. High wind warning for the Guadalupe Mountains. That's in effect till 3 a.m. local time. Winds gusting more than 70 miles per hour. So a windy day and potentially some storms as we head later this afternoon to the evening hours. Again, near Sanderson, Dryden, potentially even Fort Stockton, not really showing up too much. But what it is showing up is, again, this model is showing some storms near Midland and Odessa by dinner time. Small hail, damaging winds not out of the question. Overnight lows dipping into the 60s with slightly drier conditions, but still muggy conditions and still windy conditions from the south-southeast, at times gusting more than 40 miles per hour, even into the overnight hours. Widespread 80s and 90s today. Take a look at this. Pecos, the Rio Grande, fairly close to the triple digits. So for them, could be one of the warmest days. Here in Midland and Odessa, a little bit cooler because of those strong winds and clouds. Overnight lows in the 50s and 60s. And as we head into the weekend, For tomorrow, it'll still be warm, but as we head into Sunday, cooler. Rain across the board, though. Something that we got to watch out for is, again, some storms, but a low chance of rain at that. But we'll take any chances of rain that we do get because of the drought concerns. So again, over the next couple of days, very warm, very windy, and pretty humid with chances of rain. Chances of rain even extending possibly into Sunday and Monday, but much cooler, so temperatures going back below normal in the 60s and 70s by early next week.
All right, thank you, Ryan. Well, this weekend, the lineup is set with new releases on the big screen and right at home. ABC's Jason Nathanson has the latest on what's happening in Hollywood.
For this mother polar bear and her cubs, every day is an adventure.
A treat for you this Earth Day. You get to spend some time with polar bears. The Disney nature film Polar Bear tells the story of a female bear's journey battling the elements in the Arctic. And co-director Alistair Fothergill tells me he's particularly proud of one sequence of never-before-seen bear behavior.
It's two bears coming together who have no other intent than to enjoy each other's company. We showed that footage to scientists. They had no explanation as to what the behavior is going on in that sequence.
Polar Bear is out today on Disney+. Staying in the cold, the epic Viking action drama The Northman is also out today in theaters. The animated animal adventure The Bad Guys is also in theaters.
Nick Cage.
Along with the super meta Nicolas Cage comedy, The Unbearable Weight of Massive Talent. Also Sunday, it's the long-awaited return of HBO's critically acclaimed killer comedy, Barry.
Forgiveness is something that has to be earned.
As you might know, Anthony Carrigan as NoHo Hank, and he tells me this season is about forgiveness and
this idea of, you know, not just getting what you want, but to what lengths will you go to hold on to what you have once you get it.
Also Sunday night on Stars, it's the debut of the Julia Roberts, Sean Penn Watergate drama, Gaslit. And happy birthday to iconic screen legend Jack Nicholson. The three-time Oscar winner is 85 today, while Aquaman star Amber Heard is spending her birthday in court fighting ex-Johnny Depp. She's turning 36. And that's what's happening in Hollywood. I'm Jason Nathanson, ABC News, Los Angeles.
Also in your entertainment news, singer-songwriter Ed Sheeran is stepping in to help Ukraine. The musician filmed his newest music video for his song Two Step in Ukraine's capital city of Kyiv before Russia invaded the country in February. In a release statement, Sheeran announced all royalties and proceeds from the song will go directly to DEC's Ukraine Humanitarian Appeal. The song Two Step is a collaboration with rapper Lil Baby. Well, coming up, find out what airline is deciding to cut down its schedule ahead of the summer travel season. And as we head to break, a reminder that if you see news happening, share your videos and photos on social media with us. Make sure to use the hashtag ABC Big 2 News. And we want to see your birthday celebrations. Submit content on social media using the hashtag ABC Big 2 News or go to yourbasin.com. We feature birthday photos on Good Morning Basin Fridays at 6 a.m.
Watch ABC Big 2 News weeknights at 5, 6, and 10.
The Vineyard, Midland's premier master planned community, impeccable high-end luxury with resort-style amenities. These Silverleaf homes are located close to Green Tree Country Club and are walking distance to Faskin Elementary. Contact Alexa to schedule your private showing.
Distracted driving can happen to anyone, anytime. Eating, doing your makeup, and the #1 culprit, texting and driving. Did you know that texting and driving is 6 times deadlier than driving under the influence of alcohol? If you've been injured in a wreck from distracted driving, call HQ Chiropractic anytime, 24/7. HQ Chiropractic will get you the help you need when you need it.
At Windowpro, we've served the great people of West Texas for over 30 years with quality windows, siding, patios, and sunrooms. Call us today for a free, no-hassle estimate.
Seems like everything is smarter these days. Watches, vacuums, even refrigerators. So why not a smarter electricity plan? Like Reliant Truly Free Flex Days. You get your 2 highest use days free every week, up to 8 free days every month. Now powered by 100% solar energy. Plus, you can track your free electricity with the Reliant app.
Call 1-866-RELIANT and switch to the truly free Flex Days plan.
Reliant, that's power your way.
Allen's Gallery has been serving West Texas since 1995, and we are proud to carry some of the best furniture and mattress brands still made in America. Lazy Boy, Best, Mayo, Wow-Pedic. For almost 3 decades, Allen's Furniture has been the #1 price leader, and we will continue that tradition at Allen's Gallery. We'll save you money. Wow!
I was driving through that intersection and a car ran a red light and hit me.
I'm attorney Ted Lyon. If you got injured in a wreck, we can help.
Hurt in a car wreck and need money? Call Long Car Lion Jenkins, the strong arm.
I was hurt bad and the insurance company was trying to lowball me.
Let us deal with the insurance company so you don't have to.
Long Car Lion Jenkins fought for me and got me over $200,000.
Call the strong arm. We'll fight to get you the money you deserve.
800, then all 7s.
Airlines are making changes ahead of the summer, and AT&T is returning to its roots with a focus on wireless. Jane King is at the NASDAQ with those stories and more in today's Texas Business Report.
AT&T topped Wall Street's wireless subscriber growth estimates as phone giveaways continue to fuel customer gains. Now, the spinoff of Warner Media this month means AT&T is back to its roots as a telecom giant. Well, American Airlines forecasts second quarter profit on soaring travel demand. American said March was the first month since the COVID pandemic began that its revenue surpassed 2019 levels. Meanwhile, Southwest Airlines is trimming its schedule as the summer travel season approaches. It's the latest example of airlines adjusting their operations as the industry finds its footing in the COVID era. Those flight cuts at Southwest will begin in June. And Spirit Airlines will open a maintenance facility in Houston and add some jobs. The facility will be at George Bush Intercontinental Airport. From the NASDAQ market site, I'm Jane King with your Texas Business Report.
Season, we'll give away a house in Latitude Margaritaville.
This is just nuts.
This week,
Maybe we can give away a home tonight.
we're hoping to do it again.
Yeah! Wow! Awesome.
We're your local weather authority. We warn you first. Our team is working around the clock to keep you and your family safe. What you need to know on ABC Big 2 News.
Midland Medical Lodge. It's not just a place to live. It's a place to call home.
What makes best reviews the best reviews?
Ooh, pretty colors.
They have an unbiased team that researches products in real-world situations
Oh no, Count Bristol. We settle this dispute through dance.
to give honest, reliable recommendations on just about any product you can imagine. So you can be confident that whatever you're buying is right for you.
Faster, Count Bristol, faster!
Whatever you're into. For the best reviews, go to bestreviews.com. Seriously, before you buy anything, ever. Here's your check.
Hey, Dad, can you keep your cool this time, please?
Give me an L.
Here we go again.
Give me an E. Give me another E. What's that spell? Lee. Here's my card. When you swap it, you know what happens? A percentage of the money goes to our local schools.
No matter if you show your school pride at every chance you get or not, paying with your MTCU Spirit debit card gives back to MISD schools.
Go Bulldogs!
Temperatures warming up into the 80s and 90s today. Very windy and a chance of storms, especially east of the Pecos River. Another chance of storms tomorrow, but not as high of a chance as compared to today. Above normal temperatures over the next couple of days, but below normal temperatures in the 60s and 70s by later in the weekend and early next week, Matt.
All right, Ryan, well, we've done a lot of Earth Day talk today, so let's go to space. NASA has recorded video of a Mars moon eclipsing the sun, an effort that helps them determine when the moon might crash into the planet. Some cool footage there.
Very cool.
Perseverance Mars rover used its Mass Cam-Z camera system to shoot video of one of Mars's 2 moons. NASA says it's the most zoomed-in, highest frame rate observation of the solar eclipse ever taken from the Martian surface. That's pretty awesome there.
That is incredible, and you know, we should say it's not just Earth Day, but Mars Day?
Mars Day, Space Day. I'm a big fan of space. How about you?
Me too. I would love to go to space. How about you?
Would you? I was going to ask you that. I think I would go. I'd be probably a little nervous, and
a lot
you know,
of
there's
training to go along with
yes,
that.
that's what I was just going to say too. There is a lot of training and the whole motion thing. There's a lot that goes into that.
Someday, maybe soon.
Yes, maybe we'll go together.
Why not?
All right. Well, thanks for joining us today. We hope you have a great weekend, and we'll see you back here on Monday.